Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Soulful Conversations. I am one of your co-hosts, Dawn Earhart-Whitty. We hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. And throughout this broadcast, I would love for you to comment in the comment section about things that we can help you with in our further episodes, because that's what we're here for, to talk about some of life's most pressing challenges and difficulties and how we get through them. So I would like all of us to introduce ourselves, and we're going to be talking about self-love and about our upcoming retreat March 1st through the 3rd in Florida. It's called Heal the Mind, Elevate the Soul. So Natasha, I'm going to let you start the conversation.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods. Hi, everyone. This is your no-nonsense coach, Natasha Khan. Just a slight correction. Our event is March 3rd through the 5th, not the 1st through the 3rd, just FYI, right? So it's March 3rd through the 5th, and it's all about self-love. And just really briefly, I am a motivational speaker. I am an educator. I'm a therapist by trade. I specialize in addiction and mental health. And here soon, once we continue with our introductions, we're going to tell you a little bit more about self-love and why we decided to do this retreat.
What is up, y'all? Your favorite producer, Portia Booker, is here. So for those who don't know me, I'm Portia Booker, better known as Portia the Producer. I'm the former host and executive producer of Groove Portia Talk Radio Show and Podcast. Now I currently produce all shows and, of course, giving people your on-camera training tips and all those great things. I'm really excited to have this conversation today, right? Because in this year, in this season that we're currently in, we have to really understand what self-love is, right? And self-love, this is a trending word, right, amongst our social media channels. But what does self-love, number one, look like? Number two, what does it really feel like in your own life? And also, number three, how can we really press that forward in our society that self-love is, number one, an independent journey. Number two, it doesn't look the same for everybody. It's not going to get your nails done every Friday. It's not going to, take a nap once a week. No, self-love and self-care is a daily thing in my book. So I'm really excited to have this conversation. I look forward to our retreat that we're going to be at in West Palm Beach, March 3rd through the 5th. And, join us there. Definitely join us. All right. Back to you, Dawn.
Thank you, Portia. Neffy, would you like to go next?
Hi, everybody. I am Nefretiri McGriff. I am so excited to be a part of this journey, this experience. March 3rd through the 5th, we are going to have an amazing time. The effort that is being put into this is going to literally be life-changing. And so what I bring to the experience is I am a therapist. I am a certified life coach. I also specialize in helping women who may have an estranged or maybe unhealthy relationship with their mothers. And I hold a weekly group every Monday night for mothers, or not mothers, but daughters who have that particular relationship with their mothers. And it's called Release What Mama Did. So as far as self-love, that is an important part of self-love, self-care, because sometimes we take on what has been done to us and we internalize it. And then we start to develop these limiting beliefs about ourselves. And we show up in ways that we know just isn't how we're supposed to show up. And so part of that is learning how to communicate, making sure, and part of the communication process is making sure that you're not a doormat, you're not sitting there serving as that target practice, right? And then making sure that you have a healthy balance of empathy, not for the other person, but along with yourself. So making sure you include yourself in that empathetic process when you are ready to do some self-expression. Back to you, Don.
Thank you so much. I love this topic. And, when we get a cut or a wound, we know that our bodies have to heal. We can physically see the damage. But when there are things that have happened to us in our lives, sometimes we don't realize that there's underlying things that need to be healed. And one of the reasons we put together this retreat, and that I wanted to be part of this retreat, is to help us on that healing journey. And I like to always start our podcast off with a quote. So I found two, and they're both short, but they both demonstrate what this retreat means to me. The first one says, "You have the power to heal your life, and you need to know that. We think so often that we are helpless, but we're not. We always have the power of our minds. Claim and consciously use your power." And that's by Louise Hay. And then the other one was, "Part of the healing process is sharing with other people who care." And this retreat to me is bringing together people who care, people who want to heal. And we were just talking about the sense of community that Portia had the other night. When we get together with like-minded people, how that energy is uplifting and elevating. And so, Natasha, I wanted to talk a little bit about what your vision was when you first had the idea of this retreat and how it's come together to this point.
Sure. So for me, it started with working with individuals and families who have codependent relationships. And really, for years, just watching people seek validation or seek their worth by staying, as Nefi said, staying in unhealthy and toxic relationships, indulging in things that are not healthy for them, but they don't know how to love themselves. And there's this belief based on things that they've experienced in their lives that led them to believe, I need to do for everybody else. I need to overextend myself for other people. I need to constantly be giving to the world in order to feel worth and in order to feel validation. In my own journey in recovery, I came to realize that that's not what self-love is. And Portia hit it on the head earlier when she said self-love isn't just about, every once in a while going to get your nails done and pampering yourself or taking a nap. It's a lot deeper than that. It's about, self-awareness. It's about self-exploration. It's about looking deep within yourself to know what your emotions are. What are your beliefs, right? I have this great book that I like to teach on called The Four Agreements. And one of the things that's said in this book by Don Miguel Ruiz says 98% of what we believe is not true, that it's a lie. And those beliefs are an extension of things that we've experienced in life. They're really not our core belief. And as a result of those beliefs, our sense of love, or what we think love isn't really what it is supposed to be. Most people that are walking around here on earth don't really know what love is. We will say, I love you, but they don't know what love truly means to them. And I felt it was put on my heart several months ago when I started talking to each of you individually, why I feel it was necessary for us to really break down, what does self-love really entail? What does it really mean? And then what does it mean for the individual? Because I think we will discover more of who we are and find our authenticity when we've truly learned to love ourselves. And then we can truly, in turn, really learn to love other people as well. And there's so much more that's, involved in that, but that's where the thought and the vision of having this 3-day weekend came from.
I want to add something to what you just said, Natasha, when it comes to self-love and self-care, right? I mean, you hit the nail on the head just now, where we are under this veil of illusion. I have to say veil because that's what it is, where we think that self-love depicts one thing, right? But it's so much deeper. I can say from my own life with my mom making her transition. I have to go back to that because that's where the foundation of my gratitude has really been excelling and elevating. And for me, gratitude is part of my self-love. It's part of my self-care journey, because if I don't get up every day and write out my gratitude list and feel it, I'm present, right? Being present is key when you're, practicing self-care, self-love, because you really have to feel it. And Natasha, you hit the nail on the head, where most of us are unaware. Our self-awareness muscle hasn't been developed enough to really understand what our emotions are. I am somebody, and I tell Dawn this all the time, I will not say I love you to somebody if I don't mean it. I will not say it. I've had people say, oh, well, I love you. And I'm like, I'm hesitating because you said being authentic. If I tell you I love you and I really don't, I like you as a person, but I don't love you in a sense of, oh yeah, I want to embrace you. You're part of my soul team. There's a discrepancy. And so
we send mixed messages. Absolutely.
yeah, and I don't want to send mixed messages to people because I've become aware of what my emotions are, what my love language is. So I'm really excited for this 3-day retreat because I think so many of us need to unlearn a lot of those beliefs that we continue to hold on to. Like Neffy said, we stay stuck because it's what we've always known and what we're accustomed to. You know, it's kind of like being in a diaper, right? You get so comfortable sitting in it, you don't want to change it because it's comfortable, right? And so when you're going to stay in it, you're going to stay in it. But why stay there when it's doing more damage to you than actually helping you heal? So I just had to add that little spiel.
Well, I think it's a great point, right? I think people fail to realize sometimes that we get comfortable in unhealthy things. Oftentimes we don't know how to move forward. We're fearful of moving forward. We don't know what's going to come out of this, so sometimes it is our belief that it's better or it's safer and or easier to stay in those unhealthy situations, right? And so, I know with the four of us ladies, our goal is to shake things up that weekend. We are going to shake up the minds of everyone in that room to be able to help them see that what are truly your beliefs? What do you really believe to be true about you as a human being, as an individual? Not what mom said, not what dad said, not what the job told you, not what other people are saying about you, right? What do you say about you? And, for a lot of the people that have already reached out and have confirmed their attendance to this, they're so excited because many of them have shared with me that we've got people who are in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and they don't know who they really are, right? They've defined themselves by their job. They've defined themselves by the role of being a mother, a wife, a daughter, a husband, whatever that role may be. But if you took that role away, we have hundreds of thousands of people not really knowing who they are. And if you don't know who you are, how can you truly love yourself? How do you know your worth? Right? How do you know what you need? How do you know if you need a spa day? How do you know if you need a hug? How do you know if you need a friend to comfort you if you don't take the time to become more aware of what's really going on the inside rather than focusing on what's on the outside? So I'm super excited. We are about a month away and the countdown is on.
Natasha, I love that you said that because, I defined myself my whole life by, I was this person's daughter, I'm this person's wife, I'm their mom, I'm this volunteer. It wasn't until my daughters were in college that I said, who are you? Who are you and what are your dreams and what are your visions? And I started going to retreats and I started going to talks and, things like that, because I was trying to find out who I was because I hadn't asked myself that question in so long. And although I still have those titles, I'm still my daughter's mom, and I will always be, but I'm more than just my daughter's mom. And I feel like this is one of the things I hope people will take away from this is looking at themselves and coming away knowing who they are and not how they've been defined. So I was looking at all of our subject matters and what we're each talking about. And Neffy, I wanted to start with you. I can't wait to hear your workshop, but talk a little bit about what you're going to be talking about and what people are going to experience from your workshop.
Absolutely. So when it comes to the art of communication, we know the old saying is you have to listen. And while the other person's talking, listen to really comprehend and not listen to respond. And it goes so much deeper than that because communication is also parts. There's so many different elements of communication when it comes to self-reflection. You have to know what you want to say before you say it. And a lot of times we don't know. We know what we don't want to say, but we don't know what we want to say. We don't know how to say, this is uncomfortable for me. Please stop. we don't know how to say it, because sometimes we're either thinking too much about the other person's feelings. Well, I don't want to rub them the wrong way, or this may taint the relationship. And so we are so worried about the other person and the health of the relationship. Well, if you are in a relationship where you can't say that, then the health of the relationship is probably already bad. So
Amen. Come on now.
so when you have these issues, the self-reflection, the self-awareness, we talked about that, the self-expansion, are you operating in your wise mind, or are you operating in your emotional mind, or are you too logical? And so having a balance between the two puts you in your wise mind, and you're able to say what you mean without being mean when you say it. And so my hope is that when you come and you share this time with me in this art of communication workshop, that you learn some of the things that you've been doing to survive, and you shift from that and you thrive.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to be
so
taking
excited.
Portia, you are going to be talking about the art of gratitude. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, now I already told you, Dawn, I done met the gratitude specialist, right? And you call me the gratitude queen. So me and the gratitude specialist gonna have to come up with some type of common ground as far as my name goes. But gratitude is definitely my foundation. And I think I actually changed the name of my workshop to Gratitude and Grits, because I can cook and I love to feed people. So I got to feed people some knowledge when I'm talking about gratitude, because I live, breathe, and sleep it every single day. Sometimes people will see me in my Instagram stories at 4 a.m. writing out my gratitude list. I start my day off with that, right? Because it's all about how you start. It's all about how you structure your day, right? That very first action is key for you to be able to set yourself up for success. So what I really want to touch on is how gratitude, number one, is my life jacket. It is that life jacket, knowing I cannot swim, so you will not see me going to no ocean or nothing while I'm in West Palm Beach. But anyway, that's for a whole nother day. I'm not going to go too much into that. But I definitely want to really share with people that gratitude is deeper than just writing, I am thankful for. It is an entire experience. You have to, number one, be present, fully present. And what I mean by being present, when you write out, I am grateful for the fact that my car has been fixed after being down for a month, and I can get in my car and go to where I need to go. For a whole month straight, I was relying on using my brother's car and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm thankful that during the cold Arctic tundra that we get here in Ohio, that I was able to have access to transportation instead of having frost hang from my butt cheeks. So I'm glad, number one, that that's all fixed and taken care of. But I'm going with this because gratitude is a full experience. When I literally took a moment to write out that I was grateful my car was fixed, I could feel it in my entire being, like, oh my God, I can actually get in my car and go. So really being present, and also really being intentional. I have to put intentionality in there, because we can write out something and say, oh, I'm grateful for having $20,000 in debt. But are you really? Do you really feel that, right? Finding gratitude even in things that we tend to take for granted, right? I used to gripe and complain about going to pay my cell phone bill, but now I don't. Why? I am grateful for having my cell phone bill for however many years and however much money. I'm not going to go there, because I can communicate with all of you. I have access to people all over the world. I'm not shut out from the world and part of, the SpongeBob crew being under a rock. So I can't stress it enough that gratitude, there's so many layers to it, but I really want people to include that in every single day of their life. And let me preface, you're going to have some bad days. It's just like when you start a podcast, your first episode's going to suck. I'm going to be honest, it's going to suck, but that's okay. You find gratitude in being able to start it, also being able to continue it, and putting yourself in the arena of being uncomfortable and being able to embrace the uncomfortable with a comfortable hug. I'm Portia, the producer, y'all. Can't wait to see you.
Portia, I know your talk is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this. Natasha, I would like you to talk a little bit about your workshop specifically.
I mean, I'm going to be starting things off, right? So you ladies are, it's interesting as I hear you all speak, there are 7 elements to self-love. And so you ladies are actually covering the latter 3 of those 7 elements, ironically, without even realizing it. And so I'm really going to go back to the root of things, right? That's the name of my podcast, Getting to the Root of Things. So I've got to get to the roots to help you first understand why it is that we struggle to truly love ourselves. So I'm going to take you back a little bit at looking at mindset. We're going to talk about mindset, belief systems, what we believe to be true, and how that plays a part in the steps we take in our lives, the type of action we take in our lives. You know, and Portia, you made a point there just now with gratitude. Sometimes we just say things and that's as far as it gets. It becomes something we just say. We think it, we say it, and it almost sits right there. And what we fail to realize that what we believe in our heart, not what you know in your mind, what you believe in your heart is what will then manifest in your footsteps. And gratitude, right, is something that you have to believe in your heart that will then manifest in your action. So we're no longer just saying, oh, I'm thankful, but then complaining and being bitter all day, because that's not demonstrating that gratitude. So I'm going to just take us back to the root of things for a little bit and explore our emotions. We're going to explore limiting beliefs, how they came to be, and really set the stage for you ladies to break into each of your workshops that you guys are sharing with our viewers today. So I hope that people are getting excited, and I hope people are ready to sign up. We've got about 1 more month left before we do this thing, and I'm super excited to get it started. Dawn?
Thank you, Natasha. And, starting this we didn't know what was going to happen. And I am going to be talking about learning the art of surrender. And that has been something I've been learning, and I've been very mindful and conscious of over the last couple of years. The last year in particular, especially with this podcast, I said, you know what, I'm surrendering whatever to the higher power, and whatever's supposed to be is going to be exactly what was meant to be. So there's no stress involved with that. It really makes everything go so much more smoothly. And when I'm seeing that work out in the podcast, I'm really being very intentional about making that part of my life in every way, shape, and form. So some of the things that I've learned over the last couple of years that have helped me get to the place where I am able to surrender, and I'm not sweating the small stuff. I want to teach people, some of those tricks and techniques that I've learned, because it really has made my life so much more happy and peaceful. And I think we underestimate the value of peace in our lives. So I'm looking forward to talking about how I learned the art of surrender. And again, it's a work in progress. I'm not perfect at it yet, but I'm way better than I used to be. So I want to share some of those mindful exercises that I've learned. Go ahead, Natasha.
Can I add to that? I think that what you just said, I want our viewers and listeners to understand, we are not coming from a place as if any one of us with what we're talking about are perfectionists. We've not perfected the art of these things. These are things that we all have learned in our life that has truly, truly helped us find balance, find peace, which I do believe is very underrated. People are wanting peace, but they don't know how to achieve that peace. And we just have some things that we've experienced and tools that we've acquired that have helped us. And we just want to pay that forward to those that are really ready for change, that are really ready to transform their lives and don't want to be stuck anymore. So I'm really appreciative of you saying that. So thank you.
I have to piggyback on that too.
Well, thank you,
Natasha.
Natasha.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Oh, go ahead, Portia.
I had to piggyback. I'll go. I had to piggyback too on what you said, Natasha, that, when we surrender, right? And this goes into what I do with gratitude, right? When I write in my gratitude journal, I am grateful for even stuff that has not even happened yet. Like my TED Talk, right? I had wrote about my TED Talk earlier in the year in 2022. And then what happens? It came to be. It did. It came. And so talk about surrendering, right? I said, you know what? I'm going to leave it up to the universe. If it's meant for me, it will happen. And then I get the email, congrats, Portia. You're going to be one of our TEDx speakers, even though, of course, I got sick and, I couldn't do it, but that's okay, right? That was showing me that it's within my peripheral, it is within range of me. So I even found gratitude in that. Like, thank you, universe, for letting me know that I'm in position to be able to launch, leap, and execute the plan. So I had to add to that little spiel really fast.
Well, thank you, Portia. I think all of us are here because we've learned some lessons along the way that we want to share, because I know my life is transformed through the things that I've learned. And again, there's much more peace, there's much more happiness, I have much more fulfillment. And again, it's a work in progress. I haven't perfected the art of any of these things, but I am much more mindful of them. And again, my life is a reflection of those changes I've made in the way I see things and my perspectives. So I want everybody to close us out with like a final thought about, oh no, my internet, a final thought about what they want people to take away from this. And then we'll share the contact information. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this podcast if you know somebody who this might benefit. And please join us. We only have a few slots available. So that's exciting for us, because again, when we first started, we had no idea how it was going to turn out, how many people were going to come, and to be this close to selling out the event is very exciting for us. So Neffy.
How did I know you were going to come to me first? So one thing that I would just say to everyone is just remember your limits are only what you set them to be. So if you are setting yourself up to be limited, that is as far as you're going to go. You actually have the divine power within you. It's your birth-given right. So please exercise that. Can't wait to see you. Come prepared, because we are ready to unload all of our arsenals. So just come prepared. Can't wait to see you.
Portia, I thought you were going to go next. I just say, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, it's sort of a, it's an old quote that I've heard a long time in Alcoholics Anonymous. And when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're willing to do whatever it takes to create change. So I just say that if you're sick and tired, please come out. Interestingly enough, majority of the individuals that are coming to this event are from out of state. I would love to see some locals. So I would love to see some locals here in West Palm Beach, Florida, or in Palm Beach County, come out to the event. I know there's many more of you out there that are not truly happy with yourselves and or your life, or you're seeking peace, or maybe you want to learn on how do I walk in that gratitude that Portia's talking about? How do I learn to communicate what I need to the people in my life that I love, right? How do I let go and let God, or how do I let go and truly surrender control? Like, these are big things that I think that many of us have questions about, and we are giving you the opportunity to come spend 3 days with us. We're going to have lots of fun. There's going to be lots of information, a lot of tools. So I say, carpe diem, seize the moment, seize the day, come on out and join us. That's all I got.
Well, that's a lot. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you for the vision. Thank you for including us on the vision. And I'm super excited about this. And again, I've gone to retreats before, in my experiences have always been really powerful. I've made lifelong friends, and I've learned so much about myself and about, life. So I encourage people, if you're looking for something more, you don't know what that more is, this could be a good first step. So Portia, you're going to close this out. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh my goodness, you let this patchy squirrel out of the cage and on a loose. I always love these conversations. I always feel so fulfilled and full of so many different nuggets from all of you. I want to leave this with everybody. Take the leap. If it's in your heart, if it's in your soul, and it's kind of like that bee that keeps knocking you in your head to do something about it, then it's for you. Take the leap. Make it a priority, because you know that you need it. You know that there are some areas in your life where you're part of the stagnant maggot crew. So if you want to come over to another side and join a community and, really embody the purpose-driven path that you're supposed to be on, we look forward to seeing you in March, the weekend of March 3rd through the 5th. Well, everybody, that concludes another Soulful Conversation right here with all of us, your host and co-host. And we look forward to seeing you in West Palm Beach and again on another conversation.